Rule number 3, say it to connect. This right quick might be one of the most applicable parts to your world, and that's dealing with defensiveness. Maybe, I'm just reading the room here, I guess nobody in here ever deals with patrons that are very defensive and come to you and they are in a bad mood or they want to take their anger out on you and say ugly things. So just a little bit, probably. Understand that defensiveness is one of the biggest killers of communication. What happens is I put up a wall and I am done trying to understand you, and on the other side, I still understand you too. I still expect you to understand me. It's like whenever you get defensive, I slam the door in your face, I lock the door, and then I'm mad at you for not coming in. That's what happens when you get defensive. I'm going to give you some phrases that I want you to use. Understand that when somebody's offensive, it's their fight or flight. Same exact thing. So now you're using that breath not just for your benefit, but for theirs. When you understand your own triggers, the more you understand the triggers of other people. Whenever you hear somebody's yelling, understand it's more of a bid for connection of saying, I'm afraid. This is my threat right now. This is why I feel like I have to yell. Don't you understand? This is happening to my body. I have to yell. It's also because they're not breathing. Whenever you hold your breath in conflict, that's what we typically do. We like to hold our breath or have very shallow breaths. That's why we get tense. That's why we get tense behind our ears, and that's why we yell, because our breath doesn't have anywhere else to go. We've just put it in a pressure cooker and there it goes. Ever heard somebody go, why are you yelling? And you're like, I'm not yelling. It's because it's all part of that, your biology. That's what happens. Somebody's getting defensive. I want you to go to these phrases, all right? Number 1, that does sound, or that does seem. So whatever they're telling you, you're going to flip it. So if they say, you're going to label that conversation. So say they're coming to you and they're complaining about something, and you can tell from their face they're mad, or they're angry, or they're upset, or they're frustrated. This sounds like, that does sound frustrating. I agree that is frustrating. I understand. That does sound, whenever you can use phrases that just confirm that feeling, they're going to remove their defensiveness. When you also begin your phrase with, I agree. Like, I agree this is what we're talking about. I agree this is something to bring up. You don't have to agree with what they said. All of a sudden, they don't feel like they have to fight you. They don't have to prove themselves to you. When you go into conversations with something to learn rather than something to prove, you're going to get more of what you want out of life.